Growing up, everyone played football. It's fun, it's a team sport. You play with your friends, you play with your friends' friends, you make new friends. On a pitch at a time, there's like 22 players. You shake hands after, you might go out for something to eat, some go out for a beer. So it's a real team bonding sport, and I enjoy playing just for the fun of it. I would say my favourite subjects at school were PE because, you know, I do like to educate myself for sure, but I'm definitely a physical type of person, so PE was always my forte. It's the teacher who came in as like an assistant head teacher, because I think he came to bring order, and his name was Mr. Olusonya, a Nigerian guy. And my family and I'm a Nigerian person, so we could relate, and he was very strict. But I would understand the reasons and the methods he had because I'd grown up around those reasons and methods, so he had the biggest impact on me when I was in school. The most important lesson I took away from the Olympics is don't believe the hype. Even though I had achieved the pinnacle of amateur boxing, I was still a relative novice. So people thought I was going to go and conquer the world within a year, but I knew I needed a lot more time. And that's why I stuck with my trainer, Robert McCracken, because I knew that he knew me for who I was behind closed doors, and he knew I needed developing, confidence building. And he really put that time and effort into me, and he still does today. So I believed that he was the right guy to work with. And then, even though people was expecting a lot from me, he would say, look, there's only a certain amount of learning fights you can have, because once you cross over, once I fight Klitschko, I can't fight the guys I was fighting before. Once I fight X, I can't fight the guys I was fighting before. So he really believed in building me, learning, understanding the game. I'd ask him questions, kept me around good people, and I was building as a person as well as a fighter. And I think that was the best thing I took away from the Olympics is don't always believe the hype, keep it real. It was just like an ABA championship. The reason why there isn't no interesting stories from the Olympics is because I started boxing 6 months. You know, me and my cousin were like, oh, we'll never say we're boxers until we have our first fight. So we wanted to fight. So we had our first fight. It was like, yeah, man's a boxer, innit? You know, when you was telling everyone, like, you'll go around, like before we would never say, well, yeah, we're just training, do you know what I mean? Then we had our first fight. What do you do for a living, mate? Yeah, man's a boxer, innit? Like, you've had your first fight, so you're a boxer. And then, like, straight away in 2009, it was back-to-back fights. Haringey Box Cup, Novices, Haringey Box Cup, ABA, ABAs again, GB Championships, European Championships, World Championships, Olympics, professional. So it was never like a long period of time. So the Olympics for me was just another tournament because I was never fighting individual fights, you know, over a long period of time. I didn't have 50 to 100 fights back to back, and then after that I started going into championships. So I felt the real impact of championship fighting. As soon as I started, it was just championship, championship, championship. And that's why the Olympics for me wasn't such a massive event. It was just like another championship I was in, and I kind of played it down because I didn't want to put that pressure on myself as well. So there is no real stories. I remember walking around for the Olympic ceremony, and the camera came on us, and me and my boy were the only ones with our shades on, and the camera come and was like bop, 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 throwing up like the gun fingers and gang signs and all of that stuff, because we were just hyped in it. Young kids, as I said, boxing's a sport. You come into a gym, you try training, you try learn skipping, speedball, punch bag, and next minute you're fighting in the Olympics. So I was just mad, and I remember people were tweeting him like, you're a disgrace to the country, I hope you get beat. And it was a shame because, as I said, he was just excited. It was just his way of expressing himself, that rah, this kid from Wales, you know, from, I think it's Barry they're from in Wales, like he's made it to the Olympics, one of the biggest events in the world, and he was just expressing himself. But it was funny when people were saying, I hope you lose and this, that, because they couldn't understand why we were acting that way. So that's just the only story I really have. Amateur tournaments is interesting because I've fought some of the best people in the world, and they will come, they'll shake my hand, you know, we'll nod each other's heads, and then we'll fight, and then we'll do the same. We'll nod heads, touch gloves, and we'll walk off. Big respect, good fight, and leave it like that. When I turn professional, a lot of people talk a lot of shit, and their mouths are better than their technique. So yeah, there's not a lot of respect within the industry. There's a lot of jealousy, envy, and hate. But that just comes with the territory, really. The lesson I learned from the Olympics is don't believe the hype. I kept it real, stayed true to myself. I remembered where I came from, and I was put on this journey, and I just stayed consistent. You know, I'm no different to the next man. You know, so I just stayed consistent, and that's what worked. Consistency is the key. If I could go back to my 18-year-old, 19-year-old self, what advice would I give? Don't make so many friends. Be more selective of who I choose to associate with. Because when you have a lot of friends, it's hard to make decisions for yourself because you get dragged from pillar to post. People are messaging you, talking to you. You're hearing so many voices, so much information. There comes with expectation. Let's do this, let's do that. But then you start thinking about, what do I need to do? You need to become your own best friend. Find peace within yourself. Find meaning within yourself. And I think when you then meet people, you have no agenda. All you want to do is just have a pure friendship because you're at peace with yourself. I'm not around this person because I want to watch like him or I want trainers like him. I'm just around him because I like him. But when you're hearing so many different things, you're seeing this guy, you're listening to what that guy's saying, you're like, I want to roll with this lot. Then next year you're rolling with this camp, and next year you're with these people. So you just end up accumulating so much information, and you don't find time for what you really want and who you really want to be. I think that's what I tell myself, is settle down a bit and focus on myself. If you get knocked down 8 times, make sure you get up 9. Because when you're matched with ability, all you have left is who you are. And no two people in this world are the same. So it comes down to character. And I was that little bit more spiteful. Growing up watching Klitschko was phenomenal. He's been a great champion for the last 10 years. He's been boxing probably the same amount of time I've been alive. And I've been boxing for a long time, very experienced, and someone I couldn't only say I learned from in the ring. I learned a lot from him outside the ring, how to conduct yourself, because I feel that when you become a champion, it's not just about the belts around your waist. It comes with a lot of responsibilities, expectations, charitable giving. People expect things from you, family, friends. It comes with a lot more responsibilities, and I saw that he handled it well, he conducted himself well, and I like that way about Klitschko. And then when it came to fighting him, it was only right. It's business, it's not personal, but the less respect I showed him in the ring, the better the fight went for me. I showed him a little bit too much respect early on, and as the fight went on, and I saw what his ambitions were, and that was to decapitate my head from my shoulders, I started progressing in the fight and moving forward.